Good morning, children. How are you all? Fine? Okay. Then let's start our chapter. So, hope you all have revised your chapter, first chapter, till where I have completed. Okay? Done na? All have revised the that definitions and everything. Chapter also, right? Now, let's rewind one, 2 points. Okay? So, what we have done last, we have seen the specimen of questionnaire. Then we have seen the method of questionnaire, right? Questionnaire by post and questionnaire by enumerators. So what is questionnaire by post? The questionnaire by post is, I will repeat the definition. So questionnaire by post is, after preparing an ideal questionnaire, it is dispatched by post to respondents from whom the information is to be collected, along with the request to complete and return it in a given time period. Okay, therefore, it is necessary to set a blank envelope along with the questionnaire to all the respondents, bearing the address to investigators and a proper postal stamp. Since the answer to the questions are to be given by the respondent themselves, it is essential that the questions in questionnaire are clear, short, simple, relevant, and self-explanatory. Okay, so this is the definition of questionnaire by post. Now, advantages and disadvantages I have explained. Okay, now let's see questionnaire by enumerator. So its meaning is, in this method, enumerator themselves contact the respondent and get response to the questions. Enumerators himself fill the questionnaire. Thus, the difference between the earlier method and this method is that in earlier method, the questionnaire is sent to the respondent by post. Whereas in this method, the enumerator carry the questionnaire and personally meet the respondent. Questionnaire by post and by enumerator, the word itself says that first we have to logically arrange the questions, and questionnaire by post we have to post the set that question paper we have to post to the person with from whom we have to collect information, and questionnaire by enumerator, in that the enumerator himself visits the person with from whom the information is to be collected, and he directly asks the questions to the person and write him by himself, or else he will hand over that question paper to the person, and that person will fill all the informations related written in that question. So in the differences between the earlier method and this method is that in earlier method the questionnaire is sent to the respondent by post, whereas in this method the enumerator carry the questionnaire and personally meet the respondent, right? Now here the enumerators should be enthusiastic, polite, honest and efficient in their work so that they can extract correct answer to the questions by providing relevant and supplementary information to the respondent. The enumerators are also instructed to create friendly atmosphere without entering into any controversy or showing any disrespect towards the respondent. Means he should be polite. Means he should be politely ask all the questions. If the person where we, if suppose we are uh, going into anybody's house, and if we are well, first we have to ask them whether you are free or not. Okay, then if they will say then they are saying that enumerators are saying that, sir, please can I ask you a few questions, can you give me a few minutes so that I can ask a few questions. And first of all you have to say on what for what purpose you are asking this questions, and for what purpose you are filling this form. So once the person understands your reason for coming and taking this information, then he will be give all the information. So if the year for genuine reason, if the person is coming and taking the information, then that person will cooperate you and give all the information. Okay. Now the advantages: the complete, correct, and more relevant informations can be obtained from the respondent by selecting proper enumerators. If the enumerator is smart enough, then he can get a complete, correct, and a relevant, means a proper information. Then enumerator can get proper informations by giving proper explanations. Means if suppose if the question is not understood by the person, then the enumerator will explain him what this question means and for what purpose we are asking this question. Okay, so enumerator can get proper information by giving proper explanation to the respondents who are illiterate or not cooperative. Okay, in this method, there is no problem of loss of questionnaire or incomplete answer to the question. The information obtained is more reliable. Means third point, there is no problem of loss of questionnaire. Loss of questionnaire means the set of questions will not be missing because that is the person himself is carrying the questionnaire. Okay, that's why there is no problem of missing. But in questionnaire by post, there is a problem of missing of that post. Means the post can be missed or can be posted or can be given to anybody else. So like this, some problem arises in the questionnaire by post, but in questionnaire by enumerator, such problems does not arise. Then the information obtained is more reliable, means it is a trustworthy information because that person is directly visiting that place and collecting information. Then the disadvantages. Sometimes it is quite difficult to get expert enumerators in sufficient number. Expert enumerator in sufficient number means the person who is having a good experience. Such type of enumerators are difficult to get. Okay, and due to the large number of enumerators, the remuneration paid to the enumerators increases, and the total cost of inquiry. Due to the large number of enumerators, here in this case, more enumerators are needed, right? Means that person has to directly visit and collect the information. That's why more number of persons are needed. So if more workers, enumerators are there, then we have to pay more money to them also. So our costing will also increase. Then third is it is very difficult to a difficult task to train the untrained enumerators for the inquiry. So here we will go for always we will go for an experienced enumerators. And suppose if an untrained or a fresher will enter this field, then at that time the training for the enumerators becomes a difficult task for them. Even after training, it is not proper to believe that they will work skillfully because they are working for the first time. So we can't trust, we can't rely their informations. Okay, so even after training, it is not proper to believe that they will work skillfully, honestly, or efficiently. Hence, sometimes the information collected by them may not be reliable. Fourth point is this method becomes unsuitable when the respondents are spread over a wide area. In these circumstances, the cost and time of inquiry increases. Next is enumerators have to adjust with the convenient time of respondents, or sometimes enumerators have to visit 2 or 3 times to the same respondent. As a result, it becomes difficult to finish the inquiry within the stipulated time. Okay, then among the 3 methods of collecting primary data discussed earlier, there is no definite rule for using a particular method. The selection of the method of inquiry mainly depends on the following experiments. We can use, if I am a person who is sending, who wants any information, so I can select any method. It is not like that I have to this. If the area is wide, then I have to go for this method. If the area is small, then I have to go for this method. It is not like that. It is up to me which type of method I am using. Okay, then selection of method depend on the following aspects, that is the spread of the area under inquiry. Purpose of, if I am smart enough, then I will smartly select the method, which method I have to go for. Okay, and suppose if the area is wide and I am selecting questionnaire by enumerator, then my expense will increase. So if I want to decrease my expense, shorten my expense, then I will go for enumerator questionnaire by post. Okay, that is called a smart work that we have to select. Spread of the area under inquiry. Second is the purpose of inquiry, the monetary provisions. Monetary provisions means the money related. That only I told you, the expenses I have to look. If I want to make less expense, then I have to see what type, I have to see all each and everything. Then I have to decide which method I have to go for. The time frame, possibility of getting expert enumerators, and the standard of accuracy. Okay. Now, secondary data. What is secondary data? I told you, the data collected by the third person, not directly. That is called a secondary data. Okay. So sources of secondary data, there are two main sources of secondary data, namely VIZ means namely published and unpublished. Okay, now secondary data from published sources. Published sources means published, and unpublished means what? Published in any magazines, any books, or we can see in Google. That is called a published one. Unpublished means that suppose I will tell you, if I have collected, we will take the example of a school only, Samiti school only. If I have collected the full information of number of students, number of classes, means from nursery to standard 12, science, commerce, and number of students, number of classes, and number of boys, girls, age, below this age wise I have bifurcated, then many more informations I have collected. If suppose I have collected all this information and I will keep it by me only, it is not shared, or it is not written anywhere, or it is not given to anybody, then that is called unpublished. Okay, and published means if I will give that information to my class teacher, or for any magazine, for school magazines, anything like that, then that is called a unpublished. Okay, then secondary data from published sources are published sources, like first is government publications. Then so first is government publication. See, the sources of published sources are government publications, semi-government publications, international publications, reports of research organization, and publications of business and commerce organization, newspapers and periodicals. These are all the published sources, right? So we will see one by one all the sources. So first is government publications. Like there are number of central and state government organizations which collect statistical data and publish their findings in the interest of the public. In the interest of the public, for the means for the use of the public, means they are publishing the data for the so that the public, anybody can use it, right? Then some government publishers provide data on a periodical and regular basis. For example, Central Statistical Organization, that is CSO. What is CSO? Central Statistical Organization. And National Sample Survey Organization, that is NSSO. Then Office of the Registrar General and the Census Commissioners of India. Indian Council of Agricultural Research, that ICAR. Okay, Statistical Abstract of Gujarat State. Statistical Outline, Gujarat State. Socio-economic review, Gujarat State, etc. Right? These all are the government publication, name of government publications, from where we will get the data related, like the birth rate in the year. If you want to know the birth rate of India in the year 2000, or 1980, or 2001, any year if you want, then you can get this. Then the percentage of poverty, then the economic condition of India in the year this much, then the inflation rate, then all these informations you will be getting from this publication, right? Then second is semi-government publications. Semi-government publications are Life Insurance Corporation of India and state electricity boards, etc. regularly publish various types of important data. Okay, then international publications means international publications like United Nations Organization, that is UNO, International Monetary Fund, that is IMF, International Labour Organization, that ILO. Then ILO publish their important data. So children, you have to learn all the this full forms, but this full forms you have to learn properly. Okay, now so these are the semi-government publications, right? Now let's see the next one, that is third point is international publications. So the international publication is United Nations organization, that is UNO, international publications that I have explained, right? International publications, and International Monetary Fund, IMF, International Labour Organization, ILO, published their important data. Now let's see the reports of the research organizations. Okay. Now, so the research institutes like Ahmedabad Textile Industry Research Association, that ATIRA, that is called the Ahmedabad Textile Industries Research Association, then Physical Research Laboratory, that is PRL, then Ahmedabad Salt and Marine Research Laboratory, then Bhavnagar Institute of Economic Growth, Delhi National Council of Applied Economic Research, New Delhi provide data in their publications. These all are the reports of research organizations. Then fifth point is local self-government institution and autonomous educational institution. Municipal corporation, Jilla Panchayats and agricultural universities publish their annual reports. Right? Then sixth point, publications of business and commerce organization, that is Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry publishes the General Economic Trends. Institute of Chartered Accountants publishes the General. The Chartered Accountant and the Institute of Foreign Trade publishes the General. Foreign Trade Review. All these are the names of the book where the data are published. Okay. Don't worry that you have no need of learning all this by heart. I will tell you what I am going to ask from these resources, secondary resources. What I am going to ask you, I will tell you. Don't worry about you will be thinking the 7 points, how we will learn. I will give you the hint how to learn this. Okay. Then newspapers and periodicals. The data regarding economics, commerce, business, sports, etc. can be collected from the different newspapers and periodicals like the Economic and Political Weekly, and that is EPW. Okay. Then commerce, business today, financial express, etc. are the newspapers, name of the newspapers. These are also important sources of getting secondary data. Okay. Now what is unpublished? Only 4 lines are given for the unpublished sources definition, secondary data from unpublished sources. So this definition you have to learn. And see, first we will see the definition. Some of the statistical data may not be published. Sometimes the data may be drawn on request from the unpublished internal records of private and public organizations which are prepared for their references. For example, salary of employees, their length of service, their educational level, data regarding investment of mutual funds in public and private sector companies, PhD, thesis of various university, etc. All these informations are collected for our knowledge, for our use only. Okay, and this all are not published in a book. It is not necessary to publish. Like I told you, number of boys in 10th standard, number of girls in 10th standard, or not, total number of boys and total number of girls in Samiti school from standard 1 to 10. These all are not necessary to publish in any books. It is not a use of the public. That are the informations that teachers are collecting for their own use. Okay, so for our use only. That's why it is called an unpublished data. The data we are collecting, but it is for our own use. Okay, that is called unpublished data. And what I was saying, that for this published data, what you have to learn? See children, I will ask you, give the names of the or secondary data from unpublished sources. Which are the sources of published secondary data from unpublished sources? Now, which are the published sources, that I will ask. Okay, that I will ask. So this number 1, 2, 3, 4 years of Vidya, that you have to write that in bold letters. Whatever is given, that you have to write in the answer. I am not going to ask in states now that 5 marks in 4 or 5 marks long answers are not been asked. Only 1 mark, that is MCQ, section A, section B of 2 marks, section B of 1 mark, section C of 2 marks, and section D of 3 marks. Till section D we are asking the theory. In section E and F, most probably theories are not asked. Okay, in statistics we are having the sections till F. Okay, in economics, OC and all other subjects we will be having till E only, right? Okay. Now Let's see. Today we are going to end our chapter. Now see the precautions while using a secondary data. What precautions we have to take while taking a using a secondary data? A careful scrutiny. Scrutiny means क्या minutely जो observe करते हैं ना, that is called scrutiny. Must be done before using secondary data. है ना, correction should be done. This the reason is that such data may be erroneous, means error might be there, of inadequate sample size, or may not be suitable with the purpose of the inquiry. The secondary data may not be useful for statistical analysis, drawing conclusions, and interferences from the analysis. Therefore, before using such data, the following precautions should be taken. So let's see what precautions we have to take. See, children, I will ask the what are the precautions you have to take for the secondary using the secondary data. If the question is asked in such a way, then you have to write only 3 points. Okay, for 3 marks you have to write only 3 points, because that I will give 3 marks. Okay, only 3 points you have to write. If it is for 2 marks, then you have to write 4 points for 2 marks. Okay, I will be asking for only 4 points. 2 marks, 4 points you have to write. कोई भी छोटे 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 कोई भी 4 points लिखो. Then the first point is, before using the secondary data, it should be verified as to who has collected data and from where the data is collected. The data obtained from the records of private organizations may be less reliable, as the private organization collected data according to their own ideology and prejudices. The purpose of collecting the data must be relevant to the purpose of the study. Otherwise, the data will be of no use. Means for what purpose we are collecting. Means for that, first of all, we have to see. Suppose if I am searching for the death rate and the birth rate. If I am searching for the death rate and birth rate, and I will go and I will be getting a data which is related to the income or the financial position or the economic condition, then it will be of no use. So I have to go through the data first. I have to read the data first. I have to observe it minutely, and then I have to record it. Okay, and then I have to use it. The collected data must not be too old. Means if now 2020, I can't use the data of 1960, 1950, 1970. Okay, so it should be relevant with the current time period. For example, price of grains, gold, petrol, etc. Before using the secondary data, the matters regarding the scope of the data, region for which the data are collected, the definition of the terms used in the data should be ascertained. Direct use of the estimated data should be avoided. The estimates given in the data may be wrongly calculated. Then, the method of collection of data. The method of collection of data should be known so that investigator becomes familiar with its advantages and disadvantages. To get the proper benefit of the secondary data, it should be used with the above precautions. Right? This is our last point of this chapter. Okay, what was the last point? The method of collection of the data should be known so that the investigator becomes familiar with its advantages and disadvantages. Method of collection of data should be known to the investigators. To get a proper benefit of secondary data, it should be used with the above precautions. Means to get a proper benefit or to get accurate benefit, accurate data, we have to follow all the precautions. Okay, these are the precautions to be used, to be followed. Right? Now, see, in statistics, subject, you have to read this summary also. Right? Summary, I am asking the questions from summary portion also. Because in this is theory chapter, so if you are reading, then it's okay. Everything is given in briefly only. And when we are doing that sums, at that time that hint is given in summary, or some I will show you that sometimes some hints are given which you will not find the textbook, but that will be given in the summary portion. So always remember, in 11th and 12th standard, summary portion is also important, because in 12th standard in board, many times questions are asked from summary part, this summary. Okay, so please give importance to this summary. At least read once. If it is related with your sums, now highlight that point and read it 2-3 times. Okay, so let's see summary. First point is data is a set of observation expressed in quantitative and qualitative form. Data can be obtained through primary sources or secondary sources. When the data is collected by the investigator himself, it is called primary data. And we by himself we ourselves goes and collect the data, then it is called primary data. When the data has been collected by others and used by investigators, then it is called a secondary data. And a brief study of the full chapter it is. The most important method for collecting the primary data is a questionnaire method. How many types of questionnaires are there? Two types, that is questionnaire by post and questionnaire by enumerators, right? And this method, questionnaire method, primary data, this questionnaire method, how to select that questionnaire method? It didn't have any rules for that we have to follow this questionnaire only by post or by enumerator. It is up to you. If you are smart enough, then you will be selecting a proper method for your form. Okay, a questionnaire refer to a tool used to get answer of questions from the respondent. A questionnaire is refer to a tool, means it is type of a tool, means क्या कोई चीज कोई वेपन कोई चीज होता है ना जिससे हम we get answers of questions from the respondent. That is questionnaire is called a tool here. Okay, now this is your exercise section A, and in this section 10 questions are there, and I will be asking that one more question from this section A only. If I will be asking that other than this MCQ section A, then I will let you know that from where I am asking the question. Each and everything I am discussing, and from what I am explaining or what I am discussing from them, or that thing only, from that material only I am asking the question in exam also. Okay, if I have not said, then if like I just now told you na, that summary, from summary I am asking the question, so you have to read summary question also. Now this is section B. So children, you have to write all these questions, 1 to 8 questions in your notebook. Section A, no need to write section A in notebook. Start with section B. Okay, these all the definitions are important. Who was the founder of Indian Statistical Institute? Definition of population, sample, qualitative data, quantitative data, primary data, secondary data, right? And many more definitions are there, like variables, attributes, infinite population. All this you have to learn, and you have to write also all the definitions. Okay, I have given now all the definitions that you have to learn. Many definitions are there in page number 3 and 4. So please refer to page number 3 and 4. And other than these definitions, how many definitions I told you, please write the definitions. Okay, or else I will give you in a group, I will send all the questions which you have to write other than this. Okay, it means 8 plus more definitions you have to write. Okay, now section C. Section C, state the definition of statistics given by Croxton and Gowden. What is data, questionnaire, unpublished data, variable characteristics, attribute. Almost all the definitions you are covering. See, this is of 2 marks. Section C is of 2 marks. So accordingly you have to write. Now section D. In this, what you have to write, that I will tell you. Now, second question you have to write. Difference between qualitative, quantitative data. Third question, examples of primary data. Fourth question, method of questionnaire. Um, See, in do one thing in this. See, the discuss the method of collecting primary data by direct inquiry, method of collecting by indirect inquiry. Okay, secondary data. This you have to write. I think discuss the method of questionnaire. that you have to write. Means in this, this both will be included. Discuss questionnaire by post and questionnaire by enumerator. This both will be included here. So no need of writing fifth and sixth question. Okay. So I will take the numbers, the questions what you have to write. This one, then third one, then fourth, only this much you have to write. Then here, section E, difference between primary and secondary data. This one is important. By direct inquiry, by indirect inquiry, this much is important, right? Then then fifth one, no, not fifth one, sixth, seventh, and eighth. Okay, wait, I will tell you. Here you have to write sixth one, seventh one, then ninth one, and 10th one, and 11th one. This much you have to write in your notebook. Okay. So here we are completing our first chapter. In the next lecture, I will be discussing, in next period, I will be discussing second chapter. That is the most important chapter. Most important chapter. The second one. From second, I will be explaining you on the board, because sums we are starting with sums, and that is the that second chapter is the base of your statistic subject. Okay, if you will not understand second chapter, then it will be very much difficult for you to learn all the other chapters. So please concentrate on and listen carefully from second chapter. Okay, those who are not attending the video, those who are not hearing the, please inform. If your friends are not watching the videos, please tell them from second chapter. It is very much important for them to attend the that videos, watch the videos. Okay, so we'll see in the next video.